Hey everyone, welcome back to another falcon farming episode. On today's episode, I'm going to be splitting my native Sydney stingless bees beehive. So I've got one here that I have made, and I've got the original one here, which is about, I got it in January 2019, so it's a year and a half old, and it's about ready to be split. So the bees build their nest and they build it up and up and up and up and up, and they'll eventually fill the entire thing up. So they can live multiple years just living in there, and they might naturally go find another hive, like in the bush, like in a log or something, if one around here is available, if they get too full in this one. But it is possible, once they've built their nest up high enough, to split it down the middle and transfer the top half onto a fresh bottom half and the bottom half onto a fresh top half. So that's what I'll plan on doing today. So I'll get my brother to give me a hand and hope it all goes to plan, because these are stingless, but they do like to attack if they are pissed off. So fingers crossed they cooperate with me. So let's get into it. So I've already picked out a spot for them out the front here. The one out the back is in a southern facing direction in the shade, and this is also in a southern facing direction in the shade. So it's probably a little bit more shaded from the rain. I think it'll be a good spot, because if you look out from the entrance, that's the view that they're going to have. So they're going to have plenty of flowers to right at their doorstep. So I only need 2 tools, and that's a prier to get in the corners and pry the corners apart, and then a knife just to cut in a little bit. I don't want to cut all the way through, because when you split it, you want it to naturally split down the honeycomb spiral that they create. So first things first is trying to pry the corners open, which should be quite hard because they make like a little sticky wax that seals all the gaps up so no predators can get in. It's a bit windy today, so hopefully that doesn't affect my chances of swimming it. You are supposed to weigh these to determine if they are actually truly ready to be split yet. They're about 3 kilos, I think, is what it should come out to, but because this is a year and a half old, I'm guessing that it's going to be ready. Oh shit, they're all coming out. Grab that black bucket from in there, Dave. I just killed one. So, get ready with the top on. Look at the new one. Starting to come apart good. I can feel it starting to split the honeycomb in there. I just don't want to squish all of them. Oops. Just whatever they've used to make this, it's not timber, it's like some porous plastic, and it's very bad. they did say that they'll go for a run. So I don't want to Oh my god, that's amazing. It tastes like golden syrup. Look at that. Quick, where's the other half? Bottom. Yep. Bottom half. So this is what it looks like on the inside. There, all the egg sacs around the outside, and then you got honey just here. And it tastes delicious. And they're trying to kill me. And I just realised that the hole is in the wrong direction. So I made my hole in that side, and they made their hole on the other side. Look at that spooner. So here's some pollen by the looks of it that I think they are collecting to store in the egg sacs. Have a taste. It's actually closer to the taste of honey than I thought it was going to be. So I accidentally squished a few there, putting it back on, which are unfortunately casualties in the building of the new hive. Just chewing on some of the wax. I don't know if we can focus on that. Yeah, it's unbelievable. So I'll just leave both the hives here for them to settle down a bit, and I've got to tape them back together. So I've got to tape them and seal it around the gap in the middle where I split it on both of them. They did, in the book I've got, recommend that if the top half was starting to droop, ow, it's biting my ear, ow. If the top half was starting to droop, then you might have to flip it and like stick this bit on top and then leave it for a week until they like reinforce it again. But this one's pretty good, so I'm just going to leave it how it is and move them to their new locations. I don't think it will matter what direction the hole is in here, but I can't be too sure. I'm gonna guess. What I'm gonna do is probably just drill another hole here and plug the other one up. They're everywhere. What did you think, Dave? I liked it. I like when they were saying the description of it in the thing. It was like a bitter taste, but it was definitely not bitter. It was sweet, if you could call golden syrup bitter, but I wouldn't. It's not like a maple syrup or like a pure straight sugar. Oh. They're already starting to use the other hole at the back here, so providing which directions we're going to face. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to have to 180 that. 180 this top half. Because the direction I'll be putting it out the front means that it won't be up against a brick wall, it'll be facing outwards. And then I won't have to drill a second hole. Hold on. Alright, 3, 2, 1. They're already starting to make it their home. And I just squashed them. I'll just quickly tape this up as soon as I get out of the way. Ooh. And then move it out to the front. So they say that depending on how far away you move the hive, you've got to move it 1 kilometre or 1 metre. Anywhere in between, they'll get confused and they might fly and, oh damn it, they might fly back to the original hive, or they'll want to fly back to the original hive. A new queen will form in the new hive once the new eggs start to hatch. I think that'll do. I'll move out the front now. Leave the other one to rest. Nice little rain cover for it to go on there, and in the future there is another section that you can put on top of here. I won't open this top up because the bees will go crazy again, but there's some plastic going about 3/4 of the way, so they won't build their nest up past that plastic, and then when you put the extra honey section on, they'll only build up to there, and then they'll start building like another honey storage section at the top. So they'll go around the corner and build it there. So then you can just take that off, harvest like 1/4 of a honey every year, and then put it back on, and then just let them keep going. So that's how it will be sitting. And I might weigh it down with like a brick or something for now, just until I can strap it down properly. I was going to zip tie it, I think, because the other one had some bandit strap holding it together. So you can see they've already started to use it. They'll plug that hole up themselves. So what they've done here, this is a little plastic fitting, and they've just like plugged it up with their own little bit of wax, so there's only a small inlet. I'm doing it at this time of the year too, because it's coming into summer and all the flowers are starting to flower on the fruit trees, and they'll have plenty to eat, plenty of pollen to get ahead with building the hive back to what it used to be before winter sets in again next year. You can see they're already starting to try and fill that hole in with some wax to make it a little bit smaller so predators can't get in. All finished. So I've got a little step here for them to land on, so they can land and then just crawl straight in. And I've blocked that hole up just a little bit so they don't have to work as hard, and I'll probably leave it there and indefinitely. Oh, they're attacking me. Because they'll just make some wax on the outside and do what they've done around here and make a tiny little opening. So they've made their own little like cave system heading into the inlet, which goes that way and then into it. So they'll probably just do the same here. This whole step will probably end up being a ball of wax in the end. Don't want to swap away because I might hurt them. So yeah, this one is finished, and the one out front. The one out the front is also done. So I'll just show you that. So these bees aren't honeybees in the same sense as European honeybees. You don't collect honey from them like you would a honeybee. They're mainly to do with pollination of fruit trees and flowering plants around your local area. So yeah, the aim isn't to get honey from them. The aim is to boost the bee population in your area. And there's actually a decline in like native bees. Honeybees on the increase because everyone's getting them, and local native bees are on the decline. So the more native bees we can get in the area, the better, because it's sort of beneficial for the native environment. So I live pretty close to bush. I don't know if you can see, there's just a bunch of bush there, and probably about like 500 meters in the opposite direction is like the start of a national park. So I'm pretty close. So I've blocked up this hole out the front as well. And they're probably going to block that entrance up as well. Well, that's it for today's episode. Every year and a half I'll probably be doing the same thing, splitting each of the hives, so you can double it every year to year and a half depending on how good the year is. So I plan on planting a lot more flowering plants, like I've got some nasturtiums over behind the camera, and just anything that attracts bees so they can collect as much pollen as they can, so then I can split the hives every year as opposed to a year and a half to 2 years. So that means I get more bees, more pollinating bees, and more honey, so in the long run. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Give it a thumbs up and a like and whatever else you want to do, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.